Hey guys, so for today's video, I'm going to be doing a Wizard of Oz set. So to start off, I'm going to be painting all of the nails with this glittery red color called To Die For from Nails by Dev. I wanted the bottoms of these nails to represent the ruby red slippers that Dorothy wears. So I did do 2 coats of this just to get as much glitter as possible on the nails, and I cured each coat for 60 seconds. So there are a few reasons why I'm doing a Wizard of Oz set. One, because The Wizard of Oz was my grandma's favorite movie, and she passed away 11 years ago. 2013 to 2014, that's 11 years, right? And her birthday is November 18th, and so I kind of wanted to do this set in honor of her for her birthday. Also, it was The Wizard of Oz's 85th anniversary of when it came out, and I'm realizing I think I said in that Wicked Cat Eye video, I think I said was the 50th anniversary. I don't know where I got that from, but it was the 85th anniversary this year. Also, Wicked, the movie, is coming out here in a couple days. Well, a couple days when this video goes up. And I know like Wicked and The Wizard of Oz are 2 different things, but they, kind of take place in the same universe, in the same timeline. So all those reasons kind of just made me want to do a really cute Wizard of Oz set. So after I got the red glitter painted on, I went in with the white from Ball Pit and painted 1 layer of that on the nails. As you can see, 1 layer was all that was needed. This is a very pigmented 1-coat coverage white, and it did cover everything nicely. The only problem is that I didn't realize that this red glitter was kind of bumpy. So as you can see, when I'm applying it, the white does look a little lumpy and bumpy. I should have went in and applied a base coat to the nails to kind of even that out a little bit, but I didn't do that. So the nails are a little bit lumpy and bumpy, so you'll just have to ignore that later on. Although at the end, you can't really tell that they're bumpy for the most part, just with all the other layers of gel polish that was applied on top of these. But after I got this white on all of the nails, I did go ahead and cure it for 90 seconds, just because, like I said, this is a very pigmented, it's a little bit of a thicker gel polish, full 1-coat coverage gel polish, and I just feel like curing it for 90 seconds, like, really make sure that it is fully cured and you're not going to have any issues with like wrinkling or like semi-cured gel. Once the white layer is cured, I'm going in on, I believe, the thumbnail and doing the scene with Dorothy and the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion all walking down the yellow brick road towards Emerald City. Although I'm not including Dorothy and all of them on this one, on this nail. I am just doing the like scenery. So the Emerald City in the background with the yellow brick road and the poppy fields. So I'm starting off with Bonus Life from Nails by Dev and painting that on half of the nail. Then I cure it for 60 seconds. And then once I have that cured, I go in with Mimosa from Madame Glam and a liner brush. I believe this is my 12mm liner brush. I switch back and forth between a 12mm and a 9mm throughout this entire set. But I'm just using that to create a little triangle at the bottom of the nail to make it look like the yellow brick road is getting farther and farther in the distance. And then I cure that for 60 seconds. And then I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to it. So I took, I think it's called Neon Honey from Madam Glam, and went over it. It's a really pretty glittery yellow. I apparently didn't hit record whenever I was painting that on, but I do show the color that I used, but not me painting it on to the nail. Cured that for 60 seconds, and then I took Mimosa and mixed in a little bit of orange to it to make it a little bit of a darker yellow so I can do the lines for the bricks to create the bricks on the yellow brick road. And for this video, I used so many different colors that I'm actually not going to link each individual color in the description below. I just feel like that's going to be way too much to do, but I will leave links to all of the websites of the polishes that I got or used. So like Madam Glam, I think I used Nail Reserve, Nails by Dev, Ball Pit. All of those websites will be linked. But like I said, I'm not going to link each individual color. If there is a color that you like, you can go to the website and find it on there yourself. But like I said, I just feel like that would be way too much to try and link each individual color. Also, I did a lot of color mixing on this set, and usually I show when I do color mixing so you guys can see how much of each color I mix up, to make it a little bit easier for you guys to figure out like mixing colors, and like if there's a certain color I mixed up, then you can kind of see how I did it to get similar results. I didn't do that on this set because I knew it was going to take me a lot longer to get through this because there is quite a bit of details on this set, and I knew it was going to take me a long time, so I kind of just wanted to show just painting everything. I show you the colors, and I will tell you if I mixed them. Like for the green for the grass, I did mix together Mother Nature and I think it was Astral Projections from Madam Glam to get a darker green, because all the greens that I have are a little bit lighter and kind of more on the neon side. And because this is going on a white background, it was going to make it look a lot more bright and neon, and that was not what I was going for. I wanted more of a darker green, so that is why I mixed in that blue to deepen up the green a little bit and make it a little bit darker. I applied that to the nail and then cured that for 60 seconds. And for the blue and the yellow and the green here, I only did one coat for everything because it was going on a white background. It was easy to get it covered and get the colors to look the way that I wanted. The green in some spots, it does look a little more sheer than others, but I am going to be going over that with like some reds and pinks to create like the little poppy fields there, so it does all kind of get covered up, and it all worked out very nicely in the end. So for the flowers, I'm using Power Up and Pixel Princess from Nails by Dev, as well as the white from Ball Pit. And to do these flowers, instead of doing teeny tiny itsy bitsy little individual flowers, I'm just creating like patches of flowers, and to do that I am just dabbing on some of the color to make it look like a big group or like patch of flowers. This is a good way to create the effect of a bunch of flowers in one spot without having to put in a whole lot of detail. Like if you're looking at if you're doing a scene where the flowers are kind of farther in the distance, like this is a good way to create that look. So for this, I went in with the red. I didn't cure it, went in with the pink, didn't cure that, and then went in with a little bit of white. And then I went ahead and cured for 60 seconds. And to do this, I just kind of dabbed on the colors, overlap them a little bit, put them around, just trying to make it look like a field of flowers kind of. And doing this technique, you can use a dotting tool if you want. I personally prefer to use a brush because I feel like the brush gives more organic shapes, whereas a dotting tool gives like perfect circle dots. And I feel like the more organic shapes give that more like naturey, flowery type of look there. But like I said, you can do either one. So for Emerald City, I'm using Best Buds from Ball Pit and Mother Nature from Madam Glam. And to do this, I'm just taking my liner brush. I want to say this is my 12mm liner brush. And I'm starting out by using Best Buds because it is the lighter color. And I'm just drawing lines going from where the sky and the ground connect, so like the horizon, and going up and kind of mimicking the shape and like outline of Emerald City. I really didn't put too much thought into it or anything. I just drew the lines up as high as the different points are, and that was really all it was. Honestly, it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be to paint this on, because like I said, I'm just drawing lines right next to each other to create the, you know, shape of Emerald City. And then once I get this part done, I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds, and then I take Mother Nature and just add in some spots some darker lines to give it that depth and dimension that if you look at Emerald City in the movie or in the picture that I'm referencing, you can see some darker spots. There are some varying shades of green within Emerald City. You're also getting some like shadows and stuff from some of the taller buildings blocking or creating shadows on the smaller buildings and stuff. So just adding a few little darker green lines to create that depth and dimension there. And then after I get those darker lines on, I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. There's like so much to explain with this video, and I have it sped up so much in order to cut down the length of the video, because without editing it was close to 2 hours long. But cutting a bunch of stuff out and speeding it up quite a bit got it down to 45 minutes. But in order to keep up with everything, I feel like I have to talk so fast because everything is kind of moving super fast with how much I have it sped up. And I'm not really a fast talker at all. I do tend to get caught up on words and like jumble my words and like stutter a lot if I start talking too fast. You've probably noticed that in some of my videos. I do tend to talk a little on the slower side. I've actually had people comment on that before, which I just ignore that. I delete those comments and like, whatever. If you don't like how fast I talk, you can speed up the video, I guess, or don't watch it. I don't know. I don't care. This is how I talk, and there's not much I can do about it. If I talk any faster, you're gonna hate it because you're not gonna be able to understand half of what I'm saying. But anyhow, I can tell my voice is going to be like gone or like partially gone by the end of this with all the talking that I'm having to do and like how fast I'm trying to talk. But anyhow, I wanted to add some sparkle onto Emerald City, and I started out by using the Shamrock Glow from Madam Glam because I thought it was like the perfect kind of emerald color. It had like the dark green glitters and the light green glitters in there, but I wasn't really liking how it was looking once I got it on. So I ended up switching to using, I think it's Sizzling Lime from Madam Glam, and I was going to like kind of put the glitter on the lighter parts and on some of the darker parts to make it a little more like scattered and make everything kind of look a little sparkly. But then this green glitter here, yeah, Sizzling Lime, it kind of darkened up the lighter green, so I kind of ended up just focusing it more on the darker green. So it didn't darken it up any, but it did add a little bit of sparkle. And you will see I do go in after putting this green on with some more of that lighter green, because some spots, like I said, I wanted to put this glitter on some of the lighter spots and it just darkened it up. So I wanted to break that up a little bit more and have those lighter spots in there as well. And then once I got that all sorted out how I wanted it, I went ahead and cured for 60 seconds. So now for the Tin Man nail, I'm just taking this metallic gel paint that I have and painting the entire nail with this. I was going back and forth between if I wanted to do like silver chrome like powder or if I wanted to use this metallic paint, and I felt like the metallic paint would look better and be more realistic because chrome is super shiny and like mirrored, whereas metallic is super shiny but it's a little more dull. It looks more like metal and not like, you know, chrome, if you get what I'm saying. So that's why I went with the metallic paint. I just did one coat of it. That was all it needed. I don't know if it was because I had the white base down or if it would, one coat would be good even if it was like a clear nail or not, or if you'd be able to see through it. This is the first time I've ever painted an entire nail with this polish, so I don't really know. I've only ever used it to do like isolated designs on nails, and I've only ever needed to do one coat using or doing the designs, so I feel like maybe one coat is all you need with this, but I don't know. Like I said, I've never tried it out before until now. After I got that on, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And then for the details on the Tin Man, I am using the black shading gel from Nails by Dev. I felt like this would give like the best effect of like the seams and like the outlines of the bolts on the Tin Man's body. And then after I got that on, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. So for the 4 character nails, I decided I didn't want to do portraits because a lot of details go into portraits and it just takes forever to do them, and I really kind of didn't have the time to do any kind of portraits. So I decided to just go ahead and do their like bodies or like their outfits if they wore an outfit. to represent them. I thought that would be really cute, and like you would definitely be able to tell the characters just from like the outfits or their bodies. Um, for what is this? Oh, I'm doing the rust here. Since the Tin Man is a little bit rusty in the movie, I decided to add some rust onto him. So I took that orange, I think it's called Revive Me, and that brown, which is Pillow Thoughts, and mixed those two together. I mixed more orange than brown in it, and then I'm just kind of dabbing it on in random places to make him look a little rusty and give that like rusty look to him. And then after I got that on, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And honestly, I absolutely love how this nail came out. I think it might be my favorite nail out of all of them. Just because, I don't know, I think it came out so cool, and like the rust with the metal look to it, it just looks like a really cool nail, and I'm just really happy with how this one came out. I mean, I'm happy with how they all came out, but that one has to be my favorite. Moving on to the lion. These are all the colors I'm going to use. So Lucky Charm, Astro Pie from Madam Glam, and Fudge Pop from Ball Pit. What else? Hot Hazelnut from Ball Pit. I'm going in with Lucky Charm as the base of like his body because that's like the main color of his fur, I feel like. Paint that on the entire nail, cure that for 60 seconds, and then after that I'm going to take my ombre brush and the little like wispy bristles at the end. I'm going to use that to like brush on, I want to say that was Hot Hazelnut that I used for this, and like kind of create like the fur. It kind of gives like that wispy hair, like short hair look. If you look closely at a lion or even at that picture that I put up on the screen earlier, you can kind of see like the little hairs of the fur, and I felt like this gave that same effect. It also added a little bit like depth and dimension to the body of the lion, so he wasn't just one solid flat color. I did spread it out pretty thinly, so it is pretty light, but it is dark enough to where you can tell. It is a little hard to see on camera, but like in person you can definitely see it a lot more. After that, I honestly don't know, one of the brown colors, I think Hot Hazelnut. And I'm just taking my liner brush and creating the basic outline of his mane. It kind of goes down into like a pointed triangle down like his chest area. So I got the basic shape of that, filled it in, and then did some little squigglies off of that to get like the basic shape of curls, because if you look at the Cowardly Lion and the Wizard of Oz, his mane is very like ringlet curls, but I'm not going to go in and paint these individual ringlet curls. I'm kind of just doing something that's going to mimic like a curl hairstyle or like a curl pattern without actually creating individual curls. So like I said, I'm just going in, creating these little squigglies, and then I do go in between them and create some more little lighter squigglies to kind of fill it out and make it look more full. And then I cure that for 60 seconds. So after that base is done, I'm just going in with a darker brown. I don't know which brown this is, but I did show you guys all the colors, so one of those ones. And just doing like little C shapes. So I'll do like a normal C shape, and then I'll do like a backwards C shape to create that like curly type of look. Because if you look at naturally curly hair, the curls go different directions. They all don't go the same directions, so they do kind of like crisscross and flip-flop. So I'm doing that with this C shape to get that like curled effect, and I'm just going around the entire like main area and just doing that all over. Once I get all that on how I want it and it's looking how I want it to look, I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. Also, I don't know if you can hear it in the background or not, but I do have my little heater on in my room. It is so cold here in Arizona. I think it's like 60 something degrees outside, and then like in our house it's like 73 or 75 or something like that. But it is so cold. My room is also the coldest room in the house. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, 75, 73, like that's actually pretty nice. Some people will even say 60 is nice. And if I still lived in Missouri, I would agree with you and say that like 60, 70 degrees is nice and it's a very comfortable temperature. But because I live in Arizona now and have for the last 10 years, I'm used to it being like, you know, over 110 degrees for majority of the year. So when it drops down to like 70, 60 degrees, that's a 30 to 40 temperature drop, and that is really cold here in Arizona. So yeah, I'm freezing. I have my heater on. If you can hear it in the background, I'm sorry, but like I said, I'm freezing. I'm trying to get warm. After doing that darker brown, I went in with that Lucky Charm color and did the same thing, but I wasn't liking how that looked, so I wiped it off and went in with the even darker brown and just did that in a few places to create like some shadows within the curls. And then after I added those on, I went in with that Lucky Charm color and added in like the opposite spot of the shadow color. Added that lighter color in to create like highlights. So there is some, again, more depth and dimension into this, making it look more like actual hair. Because if you look at actual hair, you see like shadows and highlights and all different shades of colors within hair usually. So I was trying to mimic that and create it and make it look as realistic as possible. And then after I got all that on, I went ahead and cured that for 60 seconds. Okay, so for the Scarecrow, I am mixing together Ghost with the Most from Nails by Dev and Hot Hazelnut from Ball Pit to create the like green color on his shirt. My green is a little bit of a lighter green than what his shirt is, but it ended up working out really well in the end. I do think I ended up doing 3 coats of that, just because with the brush that I was using to apply it, it was going on kind of thin and a little bit streaky, so I did 3 coats to make it as even as possible. And then I mixed together whatever 2 colors I had just shown to create the like sack part that creates his head, and the little piece of fabric that like hangs down onto his chest. And I just did that, like I did the little shape of that. It's kind of like a triangle-y, wavy, floppy shape. I did it this small, and I didn't really like how it was looking that small, so I did make it a little bit bigger. But once I got it the way I wanted to look, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And then after that, I took the brown shading gel from Nails by Dev and created like a shadow there, because the sack is kind of wrinkled and kind of raised up, so it does create a little bit of a shadow underneath. So I did want to try and create that effect, so I just kind of outlined this little triangle shape here, and then took the Slim Shady brush from Nails by Dev and just kind of dabbed it to blend it out a little bit and make it so it wasn't like a harsh line. It was kind of like a blended out shadow look. And I had nothing on the Slim Shady brush. I went in with it dry, and every now and then I did like dab it off on a paper towel to get off any of the gel polish that was building up on the brush itself. That way I wasn't applying more product onto the nail and just spreading out what was already on the nail. Also, I am out of frame a lot. Usually whenever I do these super detailed nail designs, and like when there's a lot of stuff going on, I do tend to go out of frame a lot because I'm so focused on what I'm doing and not the fact that I'm filming. If I did notice I was out of frame, I would adjust how I was and like go back into frame, but a lot of time I didn't. There is a lot of footage cut out where I was out of frame for a lot of these parts, but yeah, I guess that's just how it is sometimes when you're filming. After I cured the shadow on, I took that color that I had mixed up and did little wispy lines to make it like the sack was a little bit frayed, and then cured that for 60 seconds. Now for the ropes, I think this is cinnamon sugar. So I did the ropes that like tie the sack on his head to create his head, and then the rope like around his waist. I did wipe these off because I didn't like how they were looking. They were connected too far down, and it didn't look like how I was wanting to look, or like how it looked in the picture. Like it didn't look like they were tied at one point. It looked like they just kind of melted together and were like connected a lot of the way down. So I did wipe that off and redo it so it did look like they were only connected at one point, like where they were tied off at. And then after I got that on, I went ahead and cured for 60 seconds. And then after that, I took a darker brown, I don't know which one, and created like the shadow parts to make it look like it's a braided rope, because that's kind of what it looked like in the picture. I also, when I repainted them on, made the ends of the rope look a little frayed, because like in the picture, that's how they were as well. And repainting them on was definitely the right move because it looked a whole lot better the second time around that I painted them on. But like I was saying, I made it look like a braided rope with the darker brown. And after I got the darker brown on, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. So after getting the rope done, I did paint on like the cuts that are in his shirt where the hay or straw or whatever it is poking out, but apparently I forgot to hit record. But the way I did that is I just took whatever color I used, painted a line on, and then took the Slim Shady brush to blend it out the same way I did with that shadow on the little like collar part. And then cured that for 60 seconds. And then I took a lighter color and a darker color. I forgot what the colors were that I used. And just did some wispy lines to create the hay that is sticking out of there. And I cured that for 60 seconds. Now moving on to the Dorothy nail. I am doing another layer of the white. Honestly, I didn't need to do that, but I did do it because, as you can see, the nail is a little lumpy and bumpy. Like I mentioned earlier, it's because that glitter was a little bumpy and I didn't realize it until it was a little too late. So I just wanted to add another layer of the white to try and maybe even it out. It kind of didn't work very well. It still is a little bumpy, but it did help a little bit. And then I'm taking, I want to say this was Clear Skies from Ball Pit, and I mixed a little bit of white into it to make it a little bit of a lighter blue to more match the blue that is on Dorothy's dress. And I started off with the like collar part and drew that half circle there and then doing the little triangles there. And then I cured that for 60 seconds before going in and doing all of the outline of like her dress. It's like that white shirt with like the overall type of looking suspender type dress. I will say doing the outline for that was a little bit difficult. Again, for this one, I was so out of frame. There is a lot of cuts on this part, on this nail, because like I said, I was super out of frame, and I was out of frame for a good chunk of it. There was a good like 30 minutes where I was doing the checker part on the dress where I was completely out of frame. So that's all cut out. But anyhow, here I am doing the outline, getting like the shape of her dress and like the different sections, because um, each section has a different like checkered pattern. So the straps that go over her shoulders go diagonally one way, and then there's a strip at the top of the like plaid checkered dress that goes diagonally a different way, and then there's a section under that that is like on the torso part that is like like normal checkerboard looking, and then there's another section. There's a few sections. Like I said, they all go different directions, so I had to like get the oh yeah, that middle strip there is also another diagonal section of checkers, and then the bottom section, which is like the skirt section, is again another like normal straightforward checkered section. And so here you are seeing me do a little bit of the checkered pattern, but like I said, I was super badly out of frame because I'm like trying to do these super thin and light and like pretty close together, because it is a very small like checkered pattern. It's not very large, so I'm trying to make it as small as possible and make these lines as thin as possible. And yeah, I wasn't really focused too much on the fact that I was filming. I was just trying to get these lines all drawn on. And like I said, there was like a good 20-30 minutes of me being completely out of frame doing this. I also filled in all of the checkers spots off camera, because that nail was just taking forever, and it was so time consuming and so tedious to get those all filled in. But I did get them all filled in and then cure them for 60 seconds. I also ended up doing the buttons off camera too, but I just made like mixed a off-white color, dotted those on, and then dotted on some black dots so it looks like buttons are sewn on. And as you can see, the different checkered patterns, that was honestly giving me such a headache to do. But after I got everything all finished, I'm going in with the shiny top coat from Nails by Dev and top coating all of the nails. Honestly, I feel like this set would look really cute matte as well. But I was a little bit worried on if the Tin Man would look good matte, because I wanted to keep that like metal look with it, and I wasn't sure if the metal, like if it would still look metal like if I did the matte, and I didn't want to do that one nail shiny and all the rest matte. So I went ahead, just made them all shiny. But like I said, I feel like they probably all would look good matte. But I really like how they look shiny as well. And this is the final result. I am super happy with this set. I'm super proud of it. I don't do a whole lot of nail art with a lot of details like this, just because it does take so long to do. But I do really enjoy doing them, because it's always so satisfying to see, like, you know, everything come together, and the finished result and how it looks, and it always ends up looking so nice. And I'm always the most proud of these sets where it takes me, you know, hours upon hours to do them, because I've put in so much time and effort and really sat there and like tried to perfect everything and you know, just make everything look good. And I just really like how these sets come out, and I'm always the most proud of them, and they always end up being my favorites. So I do kind of want to do more super detailed and like more like portraits or like cartoon type of nail sets, just because, like I said, they end up being my favorites, and I really don't do them that much. I kind of stick with more like basic abstract type of sets. But this set is super cute, and I'm super happy with how it came out. And I wish my grandma was still alive so she could see it, because I know she would love it as well. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.